I basically grew up in the South, and I consider myself a Southerner, although I've not really lived in the South full-time since I was 14. I went off to high school in Europe, and my fascination with Italy started then. I was studying French, but I started studying a little Italian, and while I was there in graduate school studying Italian Renaissance literature, my mom came on a visit, and she really had in mind an ancient coin set in a necklace. My mom, who brought me up always with the idea that you can do anything, she basically left me with this task. And I asked around and found the name of a goldsmith and went into what's called in Florence the Palazzo dell'Orafo, which is a centralized place where a lot of goldsmiths work. And I went to visit this one goldsmith, and he had sheets of 24 karat pure gold lying around and all these old instruments and tools. And here I am with this 4th century BC coin, and I really felt like I had entered into sort of the 15th century of Florence, the Italian that I had been studying, and it sort of connected the dots between, early childhood thoughts about charms and amulets and tribal things. And again, I'd never left. Sometimes I say, I love the Renaissance, but I love Apple. And I think it's all connected. In a way, Steve Jobs was was like, he and Lorenzo de' Medici would have been good friends. There are really 3 main overarching themes and collections that I do. One is, of course, my rock crystal amulets, which is sort of my most iconic piece. The second is the celestial collection, with the centerpiece being the Tolomeo, which shows an ancient astronomical theory from the 1st century. And then the last is Tree of Life, and Tree of Life encompasses all nature-related things, but they also encompass the mythology of the goddess Diana and goddess of the hunt. So the process, it depends on what I'm working on. I generally present a new collection every season, and working on a new collection, it happens organically, but at the same time I run a business, so then it has to take a certain form because other people are involved in sourcing materials and actually getting it done at this point in an organized way. But it basically starts with some kernel of an idea or some kernel of something that interests me. I'm a researcher and explorer at heart, so it doesn't really interest me to say, oh, blue and green are in fashion this season, so I'm going to do blue and green. There's always story and research behind what I do, and often a detailed story, literary references, historical references, and at the end product, it's not like every little piece is laden with all of that research and exploration behind it, but it's gone through the filter of that research and exploration to manifest in a jewel. So I think that's what people pick up on, because the people that are drawn to certain pieces, these are like universal stories that maybe you don't know exactly the story, but something touches you or something reminds you or something just connects you within our human history somewhere that strikes a chord, whether they know the story or not. But that's what's behind it.